Hello, welcome to this special edition of Curry Primetime Report. I'm CPT anchor Matt Fitzgerald. Joining us for an exclusive interview in studio is Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis. Commissioner, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
We've been following this story in the media for weeks now about the marathon bombings. From your own personal standpoint, how did this whole thing impact you?
Well, I mean, certainly was a moving experience to go there and see the injury and death that resulted from this senseless attack. But it tested me and it tested all of my officers. They did an incredible job in responding. They saved lives, and you know, ultimately we were able to capture or kill the people responsible for this. And I think that that's exactly what needed to happen.
I know you talk a lot about your leadership style. What was it like to lead and work with other law enforcement agencies throughout this whole ordeal? But tell me what that was like.
Well, it was seamless. These are men and women that I work with all the time. We have a great relationship. We've trained, you know, envisioning this type of an incident. So, you know, tragically it happened, but we were well prepared because we all knew each other, and we have there's an enormous amount of mutual respect among the people that were at the table.
And how do you prepare for a possible future attack? Are you prepared for that?
Sure, there's going to be a lot of debate about that over the next few months. I've already been asked to appear before Senate and House committees that are looking into it. Certainly the mayor and I will be sitting down to talk about what's appropriate for future events, and you know, we're increasing our visibility already, so we're working really hard. But the bottom line is this was an attack on a soft target. We don't want to turn the city into a police state, but there are things that we can do to heighten security and make people feel safer.
Now, are you already planning for next year's marathon? Are you already in the planning stages for security and things like that? Have you already started that conversation?
Sure, we've had conversations about it. I don't think substantive conversations at this point. We need to talk a little bit more about exactly what happened and how it happened before we can fashion an appropriate response. But I will tell you that there are a significant number of Boston police officers and FBI agents that are going to run this race next year because they want to be part of it.
Now, arguably the biggest event in Boston is the 4th of July, and that is coming up in a few months. Are you prepared for that? Are you preparing for that? Is there any extra security measures or things like that you have in place?
Again, that's all part of an ongoing conversation. Tim Albans, who was a colonel from the state police, and I will be having long discussions about what's appropriate for the 4th of July. And the mayor and the governor are leading this effort, and so we're going to sit and talk about it and come up with common sense responses.
Now, what was the decision behind essentially shutting down the city the day that the other suspect was on the loose? What was behind that decision, and do you think it was the right decision?
Yeah, what was behind it was a complete concern for public safety. That was the only issue that was discussed. It wasn't about so much capturing the individual and locking down the city so that we could catch him. It was more about keeping people in a safe place so that he couldn't get to people. And based upon the information that we had at that particular time, it was the right decision to make.
Now, there's been a lot of talk in the media recently about you possibly running for mayor of Boston or some political office. Do you see that in your future at all, at any time? You
know, I don't consider myself a politician. I'm a police officer. I always have been, and that's where my interest lies. It's very nice of people to be talking like that, but I'm really too engaged in this investigation still in the aftermath of the incident to think about my future at this point in time.
Do you think maybe sometime down the road after the police commissioner, after you retire, you think you might get into it at some point, or you just don't know yet?
I don't know. I mean, I've learned a lot watching Mayor Menino, and I'm an incredible student of his as far as his great work and the fact that he is so concerned about neighborhoods and the community. He thinks about the people all the time, and his decisions are always around what's best for the people in the neighborhoods. So that's been a great learning experience, but I don't know how that's going to translate in the future, except it makes me a better cop. There's no question about it.
Any final thoughts that you have that you want to say to anybody?
I want to thank the people of Boston and everyone who was in this area, the students here. People listened to us. They did what we asked them to do. They submitted thousands of hours of videotape, digital tape, and digital images that we processed that led to the capture of these individuals. They stayed inside when we asked them to. They provided assistance to the officers at every turn. So I can't say enough about the community. I mean, this was a joint effort. It wasn't the police. It was all the EMTs and the fire personnel and the other agencies, federal, state, and local, that joined together to make this happen. It was a team effort, and the people are an important part of the team.
Well, a great job with you guys and with all the law enforcement and the people. Excellent job. Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis joining us. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Matt. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.